The programming on Metro TV does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Metro Council, the mayor, or Metro government staff.
Welcome to another installment of Leadership Landscape TV, where we go inside the minds of local community leaders and allow them a chance to offer some keen insights into how they see themselves and, most importantly, explore just what makes them tick. I'm Kurt Jacobs, host of Leadership Landscape TV, where previous interviews have included leaders from the world of politics, religion, business, sports, law, community activism, and civic engagement. Today, our 158th guest is Wayne Hettinger, originator and producer of that little event they have down on the river every year called Thunder over Louisville. And he's founder and CEO of Visual Presentations Incorporated. Now, for those of you who don't know our guest, you're probably not from Louisville, so this is for you. Let me read some of his bio. A Louisville native and third son of a farming family, Hettinger graduated from Seneca High School in 1964, earning his graphic design credentials at the Cincinnati Art Academy in 1968. Since 1976, Wayne's company has been producing special events on a spectacular scale for corporate, community, and nonprofit organizations. His company's motto and mission is, quote, "Something wonderful is about to happen." And it also fits Wayne's personal philosophy of creating excitement equals having fun on the job. Since 1990, Hettinger and his company have best been known for being the creators and producers of Thunder over Louisville. Thunder, as it's known to most in the community, has been coined today as a waterfront fireworks event on an epic scale, attracting on average, wait for it, drum roll, over 750,000 spectators on an annual basis along the waterfront, where some years it has been flaming hot, and other years, if you're from Louisville, the wind chilled, rain, or even sleet could be a factor for your visit to Thunder. It is the largest annual fireworks display in North America and the kickoff to the annual Kentucky Derby Festival, having earned Wayne 3 television Emmy Awards. Wayne's company has also produced other annual civic events such as Light Up Louisville and the Louisville's Veterans Day Parade, along with past special events as the Kentucky State Bicentennial and the National Park's 50th celebration, as well as the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, the 2005 Muhammad Ali Center grand opening.
With all the productions that I've been involved with, the driving force has always been about fun.
Right.
And then the challenge to create the wonderment behind it. And that's just not on the grand shows. That goes right down, if I'm doing a corporate meeting,
Okay.
You're looking for that creative input that's going to excite people, even at a boring meeting where we've got to get them excited and hold their attention for a presentation.
Sure. Well, let's go back for a moment, because this is the 800-pound gorilla, the Thunder over Louisville, and the interview is about you. But when was the moment, when was the genesis, the seed, 1989, maybe it was a little sooner than that, when you had a feeling, maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was a collective group of people, that you had this event and that you may not have known it was going to grow to the epic scale that it is today, but what was kind of the beginning idea?
If we go back, 27 years ago,
Okay.
we had been doing the They're Off Lunch and Entertainment section for that luncheon event. The Kroger Company was the sponsor for that, and each year we were providing the entertainment, and back in those days that was the multimedia slide presentations. So each year it was, after we got done, it was like, okay, we got to take it up a notch. So that was always fun. So, but you know, by the time we were done inside the Galt House with that, it was dancing, dancers and pyrotechnics. And,
Love it.
And we were dropping things out of the ceiling. Well, it simply got to be where that next jump was, we've outgrown the inside of the Galt House. And I went to Ben Harper, who was the advertising manager at the Kroger Company at the time, and said, Ben, we've outgrown it if we're going to take it up a notch.
Sure.
What if we take it outside? And we toyed with that idea for almost a year, and he got with Dan Manjit, who was president then of the Derby Festival.
Right.
And we started laying out an idea for doing the opening ceremony for the luncheon down on what is now the Great Lawn. At that time, it was a scrapyard. We had to get a bulldozer in there and scrape off an area to do this daytime show. Guy Hempel was the manager at Wave TV back in those days, and that was the dawn of being able to take their cameras on location and send a signal back into the Galt House and project on the screens what we were doing outside. Sounds like, it sounds like no big deal now. At the time, it was a very big deal. So we did a daytime entertainment thing on the waterfront there. We released 10,000 helium balloons,
nice.
And we did do some daytime pyrotechnics. Following that, it went over so well that Ben went back to Dan and said, "Let's take this up a notch." And
sure.
Dan said, well, "Let's take it over at the ballpark." So we went from there to the ballpark. And quite honestly, Kurt, I'll be the first one to admit, when we did the first Thunder over Louisville at Freedom Hall,
right,
I had no idea that we were going to have another year at it. We were so excited about getting that one chance to do it on a grand scale that was the driving force. So as soon as that was over, it was like we're out of space here because of the area that's required for fireworks.
And then once you moved, it just...
And then when it hit the river, that put us into the big time.
What was the first year at the river, just for the audience?
Well, let's see. Okay, quickly do the math. You'd have to go back 25 years.
Okay.
So
I got you.
That
early 90s?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yes. Now, who's the most influential person in your life, Wayne? It can be more than one, personal or professional.
Well, I'm glad you said more than one, because I've always felt like the people that have influenced my life. If you'd asked that question when I was 10, I would have immediately said my parents.
Right.
As you grew and got older, I guess I was in my early 20s, John McGee, who was a remarkable producer at the time, he took me under his wing and really was showing me the ropes on production, if you will. You know, and speaking of that, I don't want to rule out the people that mentored my life in the way of I learned a lot from them, with the understanding they are everything that I don't want to be.
Right.
So,
right.
You know, so I've never forgotten about those kind of people. So I don't know that I can single out one person. You know, of course, now my mentoring is going to probably be the next one in my lifetime. Will probably be somebody that's younger than me. Now that'll be the first. But I love this collection of people that you're associating with, and it helps mold your thinking in the direction you're going to take.
What was the best piece of advice ever given to you, Wayne? It could be more than one, personal or professional.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Would have been from my dad about be yourself. He was pretty strong about that. Don't ever try to fool people. Don't ever try to be something you're not.
Be genuine.
And I've taken that to heart, and I've pretty much lived that way.
That's great.
You're not going to see if I'm out with the big boys, and
right.
You're not going to see me sipping expensive wine when I like cheap bourbon.
Gotcha.
I mean, and I don't
That's a great point.
I don't mind going that way. People that are trying to be something they're not scare me to death because they're not sure of themselves, and it's hard to work with those kind of people. I want to be surrounded with the people that I can learn from and have a good time with. Just be who I am.
What was the most defining moment of your life, Wayne? It can be more than one, personal or professional.
Okay. You know, as a producer, as a business owner, I guess a defining moment for anybody that started their own business, that's that big jump when you're going.
Sure it is.
Okay, I'm going to remove all my comfort ties of having a paycheck, and I'm going to put it all on the line and go for it. But I don't know, that was certainly a defining moment, but probably, well, here we go back with Thunder over Louisville.
Sure, absolutely.
Probably that moment, with that eureka moment, that moment where it changes everything, is our first year down on the riverfront.
Okay.
Tim Creed, who's been my director from the start with me.
Okay.
We had been, me and the entire crew had been working on developing the show down on the waterfront for, 10 months. And we were on the 24th floor of the Galt House, day of show, and that's where we have our command center.
Exactly.
And we were finishing up, getting everything ready to go, and we happened to look out the window and we saw these droves of people. Now, I'm not talking about hundreds or thousands. I'm talking tens of thousands of people merged, and it was that. There was the eureka moment. And I turned to Tim and said, we damn well better know what's going on here. So, that was a defining moment.
One of us better know
what's
going to happen next.
Was real defining.
I love that. Can you define leadership in one word, Wayne?
Oh, for me, it's vision.
Okay.
If my idea of leadership is not like the corporate world.
Yeah, I read that
I'm
about
dealing
you.
with creative people that are that I'm collecting and bringing together. So my job is, you know, to define leadership and say vision. My job is to share the vision with these people.
Right.
If they get the vision, then I've done what I am best at doing and get out of their way. I've got the pros right there with me.
Sure. If someone were to ask you, what does Wayne Hettinger stand for, what would you tell them? Not what they think about you, which is not suitable probably for government access TV, but what would you tell them about yourself?
Kurt, you know, that's kind of rough, but you know, what I stand, I truly am the American dream. You know, if
it's good,
the opportunities are here, and you know, amazing things can be done with a commitment and the drive just to keep on getting it there. I'm also a huge flag waver. I'm a patriot, big time. I served in the Army, like you said, for 2 years, but I was right in the middle of the Vietnam conflict, never left stateside. So you know, I've never forgotten that 58,000 of my buddies gave their life in Vietnam.
Absolutely.
And you know, now today with the military being completely volunteer, I don't think the military today gets recognition for that. Less than 1% of the country that are defending and providing our freedoms.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. If you could change one thing in your life or in general, what might that be, Wayne? Magic wand. You can do anything you want.
You know, of course, I think everybody's always wondered, boy, if I could do that and toyed with it.
Sure.
You know, if that was possible, I truly don't think I'd even attempt that, simply because the mistakes and the wrong paths that I've made, in fact, got me to where I am now. So I'm not sure I would want to change that.
I love this next question. It's the mouthful question. Could you describe in detail a particular scenario or incident where you utilized your own philosophy on leadership? You know, you'd mentioned vision earlier, so I always kind of tie that back for guests.
And it's going to go right back to that vision. And I'll use Thunder over Louisville as a prime example.
Perfect example.
Simply because there's so many people involved. You know, I've got, when you're talking about leadership and people are looking for you a way to lead, the advantage that I have on my position as a producer, I'm dealing with pilots, electricians, engineers,
all different
people that
trades,
are hauling
walks of life.
equipment in, business owners. My idea is to share that vision with them. They've got the knowledge, and my job is to learn what they do, and put that into the production, and then turn around and share the vision with what we're going to do with all of them. And I'm telling you, if I do it right, then I've got, and when I say that, I'm going right down to even the guys that are loading the equipment in. I want them to have an understanding of what we're about to do. I want everybody up and down the line, including the gal that's serving our meals that evening.
That's great.
I want them to have ownership in it and take pride in it. And you can tell when that happens, because the magic moment that everybody involved is feeling ownership and taking pride in it, you know, I can be the orchestra leader for a symphony, and something wonderful is going to happen because of the cause of that. So, yeah, and again, if my leadership, if I give the vision, these people aren't sitting waiting for a leader. They're looking for a direction to go.
Right, exactly.
So if I've done it all right, and the people that have seen me before at Thunder in the command center, I'm done that day. If I've done my job, all I'm doing, I'm spending a lot of time greeting people, talking to people. I've got this unbelievable crew doing what they do, and my job that day is to get out of their way and let it get done.
So we're almost to what, 30 Thunder over Louisville's, give or take?
This will be the 26th.
See, we're getting there. Now, just for the record, correct me if I'm wrong, there's never been a false launch or start when they went to go do the button. And if there was, how did you handle that as a leader?
Yeah, well, good point. Now, I mentioned Tim Creed earlier. There's been over the years 2 times where we had a situation where the fireworks weren't going to go. That's the beauty of having these kind of talented people that are surrounding you. We never hit the button and it didn't go. They saw it coming.
That's what I was getting at. You never had that blank moment.
Exactly.
You don't know, everybody's looking.
Tim leaned over to me 10 minutes in, and at that point, 10 minutes out, the computers are talking to one another. The computers in our command center that are firing out the information to the 2 barges and the fireworks on the 2nd Street Bridge. They, 10 minutes out, are in communication. They're syncing up and getting ready to go. Tim saw that there was a problem, and he said, we got a potential problem here. I said, what's going to happen? He said, they might go, we've got 1 barge that's not responding. So do we need to just go ahead and hope for the best? and of course, now it's turned to be a leader. I said, you know, as much as everybody involved is all the input that they've got in this, in all their dreams are on this thing, shut it down. Let's reboot and see if we can get it fixed. So then my job becomes, as you know, the television cameras are right there. So the minute that they sniff that there's a problem, my job at that point is to shield Tim. So I know Tim's going to get it taken care of. I step in between and block him from being barraged with people, cameras, and everything, so he can get the job done. So
well, I wanted to bring that up for you as a leader, because, like I said, that aha, that blank moment has never happened. You've solved it before that one moment, and that's why I wanted to bring that up to the audience. Do you think there's a difference in today's entrepreneurs or leaders than in past generations? You can look at that, you know, I don't want you to name names unless you want to, but you can look at that governmental, business, small business, entrepreneurial.
Well, and I would have to answer that in my business world as a producer.
Or producer.
Boy, that you know, the producers in the era of when I first started, and the ones that were in front of me, they had somewhat of an advantage because everything was so into pattern. They were in a closed environment. So if you were going to produce a show, an event, there were all these little set things that you had to go through. And then technology hit. I remember back in the 70s when videotape was replacing film. Boy, there was producers that they didn't understand videotape. They hated it. They refused to get with it, and they went away. The producers today have got to be right on top of the technology. It's changing fast. The film labs are gone. The recording studios are far and few between. The set designers, the set builders are now computer graphics, you know, so it's all changing, and it's not going to slow down. It's going to continue to change. So the producers today have to be on top of the game of knowing what all these different changes and opportunities are to get to an end product. So it's a constant challenge to stay sharp on the learning side.
If you were granted 2 weeks right today, you know, and you're running your own bus, driving your own bus, as I say, like a lot of our guests, so maybe you have a little more discretion, but, you know, 2 weeks, 14 days, 10 calendar days, 10 business calendar days, you know, no technology. Where do you go? What do you do? Who do you take with you?
Wow.
Well,
well, now I'm going to, 10 days, I've never taken 2 weeks off in my life.
That's why if I say weekend or a week, you know, a lot of people can pull that. 2 weeks is tough.
Now you got to, you know, when I say I've never taken 2 weeks off in my life, you got to remember, I haven't worked for the past 40 years.
Well, that's a great way to put it. I love that. That's a good way. You love what you're doing.
You know, God bless my family because they've endured through it. Most of the kids are in the same kind of business, so when we're together, absolutely we talk shop. And I'm having more fun than anything. But I guess if I had some time to just get away and not worried about where I got to be next or what we've got planned next, no doubt would be in the islands someplace with my wife Pam, our 2 dogs, 5 kids, 10 grandchildren, and 500 of our best friends.
Love it. Now we got some pictures here. I'm just going to have you hold them up and you kind of tell the audience what that is, and then there's pictures on the back.
Yeah, this is me on our farm on Heights Lane with my dog Fritzy. I come from a long line of Germans, and so the dog had a German Fritzy name.
And that's you on the back there.
There's
young Wayne.
Yeah,
Hettinger.
there's my big military shot.
There you go.
I think that was
That's a great picture.
Yeah, I've changed a little bit, particularly my hair color. At least I've still got my hair.
Yeah, there's no picture on the back of this one. This was your first studio, I believe?
Well, it's not the first one, but it's...
Where was that?
It was it was out on Bunsen Way. The building is still there. It was 33,000 square feet.
Wow.
And boy, we were inventing the world in there. But that was back in the days that we had carpenters and people that had knowledge of welding and entire art department. We had film labs and video labs. That place is very dear to me.
Now, what's going on here? Looks like you took a trip somewhere out in the ocean.
Yeah, this was a great trip. You know, my involvement with the military has been phenomenal, and it all comes because of being from Thunder over Louisville.
Right,
I got so involved with the military, and then got asked to be on several different committees. I ended up on a committee with Donald Rumsfeld out of the Pentagon. There was 35 of us that went on a world tour to get a little bit of insight on what was going on with the military. And quite honestly, it was a great way to say thank you to troops all over the world. That shot was in Italy. We were out at sea with the Navy.
I love this picture. It reminds me like you're getting ready to start a reality TV show or something.
Yeah,
what's
that
going
was
on there?
another
Same
trip.
Another trip? Okay.
Another trip. I was invited to go on the USS Louisville, which is a nuclear submarine.
Oh, wow.
And to their traditions, they stuffed me in a torpedo tube. But that was a great trip. It was 2 days of, we went diving 850 feet. So these opportunities have just been phenomenal.
Now, this is you again?
Yeah, this is another time where you've got somebody my age getting a chance to be 18 all over again. This was a picture from when I was serving on a committee to get the new refueler replaced. The Air Force is trying to get new refueling, the aircraft, the flying gas stations, if you will. And we're getting very close to that finally coming to reality. It's KC 46, and it should be it's in test mode now. But that was a 5-year commitment that I was on that committee. The photograph was I'm looking out the backside of the refueling plane. So that's the nozzle operator that's aiming the hose at an F-15 coming up at us.
I'm going to hold on to some of these. I just want to do these two. Here you are with Don Rumsfeld. I'll hold this one up. Yeah, so you got to meet the man.
I got to more than meet the man. I was served on 2 different projects that he had, and of course, with him working with his projects and me with mine, I think the one that would ring home to everybody was I was working on Light Up Louisville one year, and the people that were donating the city Christmas tree was over in the hills in Indiana. Oh, wow. And there was no way we were going to be able to get a flatbed tractor-trailer truck up on that mountain. Right. So I was at a luncheon, and after a meeting, went to lunch with Donald Rumsfeld, and we were just talking, and he said, you know, if there's anything I can ever do for you in Louisville, just pick up the phone. I said, well, as a matter of fact, we've got a tree that I need a twin-engine helicopter to help us get off of a mountaintop for the city of Louisville's Christmas tree that we're going to decorate.
I love it.
All with red, white, blue lights that year to honor the military. So
that's great.
I got home and the phone was ringing. It was a colonel, and he said, I'm not real sure who you are. All I know is we're supposed to have a Chinook helicopter in Louisville. So
I love it.
You know, those things, the way those things happen are wonderful.
So this is the Veterans Parade, I believe?
That's the Veterans Parade.
You put that on, right?
In 2011, some of the people that I work with, Del Courtney and Treva Brockman, who are independent event planners too, but we share a lot of events together with Veterans Day Parade being one of them. And we were at one of our sit-down meetings just talking about different productions. We realized that Veterans Day was coming up 2011. And for people that don't know, Veterans Day all started off of Armistice Day being the day that World War I ended. World War I ended on the 11th day, the 11th hour of the 11th month. So it became 11/11/11, and we thought this is going to be 11/11/11/11. We got to do something.
Sure.
So we worked with Mayor Fisher and realized that there hadn't been a Veterans Day parade in Louisville for we didn't know how many years. So we started that. So it'll be our 4th year coming up, and it's continued to grow, and the respect and the pride that we get from people in this community is becoming phenomenal.
I want to give your wife props.
There she is.
Is this at the parade, or is this?
That's at. I believe that. Yeah, I think that was at the Veterans Day parade.
And this is the command center. We're getting short on time, so I want to keep moving.
Yeah.
This is where the old blank moment never has happened.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. All right. If you could have written a letter to your younger self, the young Wayne, what would you have told yourself?
Keep one foot in the sandbox.
I love it.
And it's what I mean by that is when that young mind is developing, keep a place open there to dream like a child.
That's great.
Because a child's mind and creative mind has no boundaries. You know, when you get older, you start learning why you can't do stuff.
Right.
But at least that imagination is there. That's very important to keep an imagination like a young child and come from that thought process.
Well, it takes a tremendous amount of imagination to do what you've done with Thunder over Louisville.
Well, but not without a lot of help.
Well, no. It takes a lot of people. That's
Again,
very
it's
true.
back to that vision. I am good at sharing a vision and getting everybody excited.
You are. You create the excitement, as you call it. Now, this is the question we ask all of our guests, Wayne, younger or older.
This could be frightening.
This could be. You got me. I'm speechless, which is rare. How do you want to be remembered? If it all ends today, God forbid, you walk out of here, how do you want to be remembered? I mean, let's be honest. Thunder over Louisville, you'll be remembered for that. But the man, how do you want to be remembered?
As somebody that loves this country and dearly loves this community.
That's great.
You know, between those two things, and then simply, I'm a farm kid that like to have a good time,
right,
and would love to do it all over again. So if I'm remembered just for that would be fine.
I think that's a great note to end on, Wayne.
Great.
It's truly a pleasure and honor to have you on Leadership Landscape TV.
It's been fun to be here, and an honor to be associated with so many other people that you have as guests.
You've done quite an iconic stamp on the community.
I'm sure it's a little different than most.
No, it's good. It's good. Really want to thank you for being here. If you have any general feedback or any guest suggestions, feel free to email me, Kurt@leadershiplandscapetv.com. We're also on social media. Just type in Leadership Landscape on Facebook. Until next time, I'm Kurt Jacobs. Thanks for watching.
Metro TV, a public service of Louisville Metro Government.